Okay, for the benefit of the new joinees, Rapid Mile company has been there for almost 17 years now, and we are into two different streams. One is the trainings related to mind power, and the other is related to digital marketing. Okay, so both the streams have been there for almost 17 years now. Okay, we are a team of six trainers now, uh, conducting trainings every week for you online. Uh, to introduce everyone, we have Anil Alal Damodar, who is an excellent trainer on law of attraction and also trainer's trainer, and has almost 9 years of experience teaching law of attraction. And then we have Mr. Balram Talreja, who will join us within the next 10-15 minutes. He is an expert trainer in yoga and EFT, and he has almost 30 years of experience. Then we have Mr. Sanjeev Mishra, who is a good trainer on law of attraction and the money magnet. So he is an expert in attracting money, and he has more than 3 years of experience working with us. Yeah, then we have uh, Niharika Chaturvedi, who is also an expert trainer on law of attraction and is a specialized trainer in Jack Canfield Success Principle Workshop. And she has also written a book on law of attraction. So she's a good author as well. Then we have the new joinee, but very experienced trainer on digital marketing. We have Mr. Ongir Bhattacharya, who would also be taking today's session. Mr. Ongir Bhattacharya has more than 10 years of experience in digital marketing, and the amount of money he has invested in digital marketing has crossed over 30 crores. So he is very experienced and has worked with amazing corporate giants. And then it's me. My name is Shaz Kamar. I'm the director of Rapid Mile company, and I am also trainer's trainer for law of attraction workshops. So welcome everyone, and please help me in welcoming Mr. Ongir Bhattacharya for today's session. With a warm
Hello,
welcome.
everyone. Thank you so much, Chaz.
Ongir, please take over from now on.
Yeah, welcome, everyone. I hope I'm audible to everyone. No issues.
Yeah,
Great, great. So I'm very excited to be on this session, and thank you so much for taking out your precious time for this. I hope you get a lot of value, and I'm very excited to share this information, share what I've learned for the last 10 years, and yeah, hopefully it'll be very useful for you and you can implement it in your life. So we'll get straight into it. So the first thing I wanted to cover is the growth potential in India, right? The internet usage in India and what the growth is, right? So right now, we might feel like digital marketing is at its peak, but what I'm about to show you, it's nowhere close. We are just getting started. And if anyone wants to get into it, this is the right time. So without further ado, I'll just take you through some of the statistics that we have, the data that we have for last year. So what is the value of the digital advertising market in India in terms of US dollar spend, right? So the total digital ad spend in 2020 was $2.31 billion. Just for perspective, that's about 17,000 crores in INR. So that's a huge, huge sum that corporates and small business owners and large businesses, they're all spending on digital. And this is only going to go up. The growth rate in India is about 10 to 20%. If you do the math, you can just see how big this is going to become. Right. And then there are specifics on where we are spending. So the spend on digital search ads in 2020 was 868.5 million. On social media ads, $710.6 million. On digital banner ads, 358.8. On video ads, 258.2. And on classifieds, 111.6. Video especially is going to grow rapidly. And this is just the picture right now, and it's absolutely fascinating. Right. So then, we on the importance of digital marketing, right? The first thing that we need to answer is how do users discover new brands? What is the method that they use? What in India works for people to discover new brands, right? And this is what we have right now as of last year. So by far now, even now, ads on television remains the number one medium at about 34.8% of users in a survey said that they discovered a new brand through ads on television. But look at number two, three, four, right? Search engines, retail websites, ads on social media are very, very, very close now. And this is only going to rise, right? So TV reaches about 700, 750 odd million to users in India, and the internet audience is already that number, and the number of brands that will be discovered through the internet will rise. So on the US, in the UK, these numbers have already crossed TV. Right, in India, we're still behind TV, but not by far, and we'll cross it soon. So again, tremendous potential, tremendous opportunity here. So I'm very, very excited, right? So even ads on mobile or tablet ads, apps, ads on websites, consumer review websites, these are all coming up. And see what's at the bottom, right? Ads in print media. So that is declining, and it will decline over a period of time. And this is just absolutely fantastic news for anyone looking to get into digital and someone who's already in digital. So moving on, right? So just to also analyze the social media user growth rankings year on year, which are the countries that showed the largest absolute growth? So there's the highest relative growth, which is relative in terms of percentage, but because the base is low, the percentage is high. So I won't dive too much into this, but I just wanted to show you again what is the level of growth year on year. And China again is 110 million, sorry, but at a growth rate of 12.9%, and India is right there in number two. India, China are far ahead, but at a 21.2% growth rate, right? So this is absolutely massive again in terms of user explosion, in terms of opportunity of what digital marketing has in store. So if I look at another way to look at this data, right? What is the internet adoption by country? That means the percentage of the total population that uses the internet. And you see India here is second last. Now you may say they're second last, and that's not a good thing, but I would look at it as an opportunity, right? So only 45% of Indians are connected to the internet. In the coming 10, 20 years, when we increase this percentage, it's going to be absolutely massive. So this is now digital marketing is not only something that you do, it's going to be a must for everyone. And because of the pandemic, the unfortunate situation of the pandemic, the importance of doing stuff digitally has increased even more. So just diving further into this data, the next billion audiences, right? The unconnected audiences, the number one country is India, because 55% of our current population remain unconnected, and the potential for them to be connected. So Geo came in with a revolution, connected a huge part of the country. There still remains a huge part that still is not connected to the internet, and that is just going to improve as we go along. So hopefully, all these data points give you a perspective on what the potential is and why is it so important to do digital, and why every company, small or big, is doing digital, right? It's absolutely imperative that we all know about this at least and study it even more. So why is this shift happening? Why is everyone moving to digital? Why are people moving from print to digital? What is the reason for it? So here's one of the reasons, right? Pay for results on digital, because you not only pay for the privilege of showing your ads. So if you go to a print media company or you go to TV, they'll say for an IPL spot, we'll take uh, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs for a 10-second ad. Um, and we'll just take that money if you advertise an IPL. We are not responsible for what happens after that. But in digital marketing, that's not the case. You pay for results, you pay for clicks, you pay for impressions, you pay for people who are looking at your brand, who are looking at your website and service. So already a lot of people are moving the money. Even large companies now are deploying their resources to digital, because you can now see results, you can track, and it's just something that's much more efficient, right? The second benefit, that it's trackable. Every dollar, every rupee, every click, every impression can be tracked, and it's something that leads to accountability. And now you have to measure ROI, right? So if you blew 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore on an ad, what was the return on investment? That's something that you now get with digital. That is not so easy when you do it with TV or you do it with print. It's also targeted. You can select a plethora. There are, I'm not exaggerating, millions of targeting possibilities that you can have. That you can target not only by age, gender, profile. You can target by people who spend X amount on goods, who like sports, who don't like sports, who like a certain kind of TV show about politics, who don't like shows like that. So it's just the targeting options are immense because of the massive data, as we all know, that Facebook, Google, or the other social media channels have gathered, right? So the targeting options as well, even if you're spending big money, is huge on this. Digital marketing is action oriented. It's not a passive medium where you just put an ad and hope for the best. You do something, you take a campaign live, you monitor it, and you take action on them. Right? So if you again spend 10, 20, 30 lakhs on a ad, you get leads or you get sales, and you have to take action on it, or you have to improve your campaign. So that's something that's absolutely, again, one of the reasons why the shift is happening. And again, data, right? Data is one of the most important and key pillars of the internet. I've used the Japanese word here, kaizen, which means constant and never-ending self-improvement, which in terms of yourselves and the companies that you work for, it means that once you're constantly getting data, once you're constantly getting results, you will see many, many flaws that you need to improve on. And just that journey of constant and never-ending improvement is something that digital enables you to do. You can optimize for each and every step of the funnel of your business. So this is again a massive thing. Moving on to some of the digital marketing channels that are used, right? It's the actual number of channels are broad, but this is a general summary of most of the channels that you'll find, and the classifications come under these, right? So one of the things that have revolutionized digital marketing is search engine marketing, right? And search engine marketing is divided into two, and I'll delve into all of these in a bit of detail. Search engine marketing is divided into paid and organic. So is social media. So search engine is listing on Google, ads on Google, right? And social media is you can do organic and as well as paid. Social media is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of these mediums that we have, even WhatsApp, right? There's also content marketing, how you can write blog posts, video posts, and how the smallest person today has the opportunity to reach the entire audience of the web. They can write blogs, they can write about their experience, create a product and promote it just through content marketing. And I know RapidMile is one of the companies that has been doing that for years. So it's absolutely fascinating. And email and SMS marketing as well. These are channels when the customer or the user comes into your product, comes into contact. You have their email address, you have their phone numbers, and they've given you consent to send them advertising. And this is again a very, very powerful channel to re-engage and to get more customers and to convert users who are dormant. And also one of the very exciting and interesting pieces in digital marketing is affiliate marketing. Today, a normal person can use someone else's product. For example, there are products on Amazon, and can promote them and earn an affiliate commission. So that's again something that's really big. A lot of big companies use affiliates. For example, Amazon, again, they have a large army of affiliates that promote their products for them. That leads to win-win situations for both, for the company, for smaller individuals as well. So never has there been a time in history when the playing field has been so level between normal users, normal people, and big companies. And that's what the digital revolution has been able to do. Right. So just going into some of the digital marketing channels, and I'll just take you through some of the definitions. It's okay if some of this is confusing. I will take breaks and we can address some of the questions that you have. So search engine marketing broadly is divided into two parts. One is the organic part, or the SEO part, which is called search engine optimization. And the other part is the paid search or PPC part, which is the pay-per-click model. So beginning with organic, SEO is the process of improving the quality and quantity of website traffic to a website or a web page from search engines. SEO targets unpaid traffic rather than direct traffic or paid traffic. What that means is now a lot of people, all of us are searching on Google all the time. A lot of these searches are based on some of the problems we have or some information that we are seeking. And the user is already taking a step. Let's say somebody is experiencing back pain or somebody wants to learn more about how to play a certain sport. They're already searching for these things. And if your product or service or you're passionate about a subject, you can structure your content in a way that the search engines list your website and can get traffic to your website. And the best part about organic is that it's absolutely free of cost. Once you've figured out how to get traffic to your website free of cost, it's a very, very powerful medium. And in India, Google is by far a huge monopoly. About 92% of all searches happen through Google. And if your website is optimized for search engines, it's an absolute dream. But it's very hard. Let me be honest, it's very difficult. It's very competitive. It was not as competitive when I started 10 years ago. Earlier, you could do 2, 3 things and you could get an organic listing. Right now, it's very, very competitive and it's a time-taking process, but can be done. There are certain strategies that you can follow that you can get search engine results, and we have those as well. The other part, the other aspect is the paid search of pay-per-click part. This is an instant way to drive traffic to your website, right? So pay-per-click is an internet advertising model used to drive traffic to websites, in which an advertiser pays a publisher when the ad is clicked. Pay-per-click is commonly associated with first-tier search engines. So when I said earlier, right, you don't just pay for the privilege of showing your ad. In this, you're paying for a click. That means your ad has appeared. Somebody is interested in what you are shown, and only when somebody has clicked on that ad, your website has loaded, and that is when you pay. You only pay when someone is clicking. So no, there is a higher level of interest for the user. So we mostly don't know, right, if people are even looking at our ad or not looking at our ad. But if somebody is clicking on it, that means they're interested at least in what you have to offer, and then they will go to your website and take a decision. So this is an instant way to reach audiences that you're looking for. So how does this happen, right? I have a small quiz for everyone. I just want this to be an interactive session. So, please feel free to interrupt me with any questions. And what I want to ask you guys is, so I searched for something on Google called buy shoes online, right? Right now, there are no stores open at this point. So I was looking for shoes online. And this is the result I saw on Google. It's a typical result. Now, can someone tell me who doesn't know about this already, which one is paid search based on what we discussed and which one is an organic search? And don't be afraid of right or wrong answers. This is just a fun activity. So if anyone has an answer, what is a paid search? What is an organic search? The first three, Sanjeeva said, the three with the logos, first three. Okay, that's great. Great to hear. First three. What about these? Are these organic or paid? Just take a wild guess.
Paid only.
Paid, yeah. So these are
The
absolutely
publisher gives the
right.
money. Publisher gives the money.
Correct. So absolutely. So these are paid. These are called product listing ads that you can run through Google AdWords. So if somebody is searching for buy shoes online, you can give your price point, you can give the exact brand, and you pay only for a click. When somebody clicks on anything, so there is red tape appears, but if someone doesn't click here, the advertiser doesn't pay. Right, same here. So there's Puma, there's footwear, there's Agio. All of these are paid. And these, Myntra and Bata, these are organic for these keywords. So Myntra and Bata have cracked the SEO game, and they have figured out how to rank for these keywords just for buy shoes online. And imagine there are many, many such combinations, many many complications on what people are searching for. People are searching for specific kind of shoes, type of shoes, casual, formal, sports. So I think Balram has a question. So yeah. So this is just one of the keywords. So there are many examples of this. Yeah, Balram, you had a question?
I think it's Niharika who has raised the hand.
Yeah, so Angir, I had a question, but
Oh,
should I
yeah.
keep my question till the end, or are you taking
No,
questions?
please go ahead. If it's about the search engine part, please go ahead.
No, so I was just talking about the customer mentality. I don't know if it's the mentality across, but as a customer, I have this programming or mentality that I don't click on the ones which are paid SUs. As in, I will not click on the first three. I will directly go to the ones who have made it through organic thing. So, do you think usually this makes the organic one better than paid one, or how is it? Or do you have customers who go for paid as well? As in, you got my
Yes, so that's an excellent question, and in my earlier trainings as well, I keep getting asked this. So that's a fantastic question. Now, just to answer, Google's 90% of their revenue comes from search ads, and their revenues are in billions of dollars. So people are clicking on search ads, and if you see the way Google has structured it, right, they have added a small word here called ad, and the ad is not even mentioned here. It's there at the top. But in most cases, right, if a person's, this is a very generic search for an example that I show. If your copy or what you have written here, the headline and the subtext here, is relevant to what the user is searching, the user is actually taking 4 to 5 seconds to decide and click on it. So yes, if the ad is structured well, people click on it. And for overall data that Google shares, and it's freely available on the web, right? Organic number one and number two positions are the strongest. They have the highest CTR. So by CTR, I mean something called a click-through rate. A click-through rate, just for simplicity, if your ad appears 100 times, and if a user clicks on it, if all users click on it, some people don't click on it, some click on it, and the people who click on it are 20, your click-through rate is 20%, right? So 20% of the people who saw the ad actually ended up clicking on it. So paid ad listings on average have a CTR of 20 to 25% on the first page. If an ad is appearing on the first page, the average click-through rate is 25%. And for organic, it's about 30%. So yes, organic is higher than ads. What you're saying is more people do click on organic ads, but there is a sizable percentage, and 20 to 25% means 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 people are actually clicking on the ad, and that's an excellent percentage. So if your ad is structured well and very relevant to the query that is being entered, then people do click on it and people do get sales out. And again, this is the bread and butter of the Google business, because there are many things, there are many advanced concepts. So one of the things in paid ads is that you enter a bid for the keyword. But Google doesn't just give the highest position to the highest bidder. They have something called a quality score, which looks at your ad, your landing page content, the quality of your landing page, the entire experience for the user through their algorithms, and then they give you a rank. So your rank is not just based on your bid, it is based on the quality of the ad. So only the top quality ads appear here on the first page. And yes, they get clicked and people get a lot of sales out of it. I hope
okay?
that answers
Yeah,
your question.
thank you so much. Yeah.
No problem. Thanks, Narika, for the question. So yeah, moving on to social media marketing as well. Just like search, this is again a huge, channel for digital marketing. Social media marketing is the use of social media platforms to connect with the audience, to build your brand, increase sales, and drive website traffic. Social media as well can be broken down into two parts. One is organic social and paid social. Right. So before I get into and give you gyan on what is organic and paid, I'll let you guys take a guess. What do you think is the organic one in this, and what is the paid ad in this? If people who don't know anything about digital marketing want to give it a try, that will be great.
Can I answer?
Yeah, Niharika.
So I think the sponsored one is paid, the one which has sponsored below
Right.
Times Prime, and the other one is organic.
Yes. And you'll also notice a difference. Absolutely correct, Niharika. Thank you for that. And you also notice a difference in tone, right? In paid, the focus is on getting a sale, on getting the user to convert, right? And people, and this is native to the format of the social media channel. What I mean by native to the format is when you're scrolling, it doesn't appear as an ad, it appears as a post. Only difference is that there's a sponsored link here, and a lot of people miss that. Even if they don't, the targeting that Facebook and other social media channels employ are very, very powerful. They know what the user wants. They know what people are looking for, and that's when they show ads. So on the left, right, Zomato is doing an activity for engagement. They're really not trying to sell anything. It's a very interesting piece, right? Motivational pieces from food items. So for example, Pani Puri. Don't lose hope. Sometimes when life breaks you, it also fills that hole with good things. Right. So what Zomato is trying to do is trying to be funny, trying to engage with their audience, and making sure that their brand is at the top of everyone's mind. And that's why they're one of the most successful digital brands. In fact, we'll go into some of the stuff that they've done, uh, before and now, and why they're so successful. But this is the difference, right? So organic social media has an important objective for engaging and keeping the brand at the top of people's minds. And so does paid media as well to get sales, right? So this is an ad that's run from one of the companies I work for, Times Prime, and it's one of the best performing ads. So the insight here is simple, right? Just don't pay for multiple subscriptions when you can get all of these subscriptions in one cost at just $9.99. So this is something again that the algorithms of the social media companies use, and they find the right target audience and they showcase it to them. So this is another example. I think most of you will guess which one is a organic post and which one is a paid post. So again, Netflix is subtly promoting the movies that they have, and in a theme which friend group you want to hang out with. So there's Dil Chahta Hai, there's Friends. Again, the Friends reunion episode is coming. So Friends has started to trend on Netflix again for people who are interested. Kal Ho Na Ho. They are engaging with their fan base in a light-hearted way and asking them a question. And the promoted example is on the right. Like Big Basket has a product called BB Daily, where they send you milk, bread, eggs, and other essentials delivered daily at 7 a.m. without disturbing you. Again, this is an example of an ad. And this is one of the best performing ads again for Big Basket because of the copy, because it's relevant to the user and it's an actual service that helps a lot of people. People just add stuff on the app and next day they get fresh bread, milk, eggs. So yeah, this is just another example of paid versus social. Any questions here so far? No, I'll just be moving on. So apart from search engines and social media, you can look at search engines and social media as more of an awareness channel, more of an outreach channel to a certain extent, where people who are not aware of your brand, they're searching for a particular solution and they get ads, or they're looking at other indicators and they're being shown ads. The interesting thing about email and SMS marketing is this is when somebody has probably interacted once with your website or product or service. They've shared their contact details, and it is a way to re-engage, win back, and convert more of that audience into sales, right? So email marketing and SMS marketing are one of the most powerful channels, right? So in terms of email marketing, it's a form of direct marketing as well as digital marketing that uses email to promote your business's products or services. SMS marketing is sending promotional campaigns or transactional messages for marketing purposes using text messages. So here the customer or the user has taken one step further. That they are interested in your product, but they have still not decided, for example, whether to buy or whether to engage with your product. These are the channels now that you can use to engage them further, to tell them about new updates about your business or tell them about an exciting offer or a festive offer. And I know small companies, RapidMile being one of them, and here in Times Internet, that we have used these channels extensively, and it's one of the most powerful things that a digital tools that a digital marketing person has, because it's almost like you send an email out and you get sales. If you have, so one is cold traffic, you get people from search engines into your website, but the people who then opt in to receive a text message or opt in to receive an email, they are a very qualified user, and to engage with them and convert them into sales is something that is very powerfully used across companies. So these are very, very important channels. And I'm sure all of you have been touched by this medium in one way or the other. Here are some of the best performing email and SMS campaigns. If you see, Flipkart did a Made in India campaign where they had Made in India TVs, Made in India books. They had a TV guide. They had this entire range of products that they wanted to promote. And it did really, really well for them. So is this chocolate company that wanted to announce a sale during Christmas. So they took their list of customers. They know that if someone buys a chocolate once, more likely they're going to buy it more than once. There are repeat usage to be had. So they announce this offer through their email campaign. And so for this Apollo Pharmacy 24/7 chemist that's relevant during these times, they've been sending these SMSs and informing people to convert. So a lot of people again have this misconception that we don't look at promoted emails or we don't look at promoted SMSs. But the data that we see as digital marketers and advertisers is that it's very, very powerful. Even if 10% of people open your email and out of that another 30 or 40% click, the people that have taken these actions are very, very qualified and very interested in what you have to offer. And most of the times we're not thinking consciously that, oh, I have clicked on an advertising email and then I've converted. This happens subconsciously, and it's actually a very, very powerful tool that is being used by a lot of companies. So moving on. So content marketing, right? So Bill Gates in 1996 wrote an article called Content is King, and it still is king. This is one of the most powerful ways that, as I was saying, any normal person, any normal user can start to get their content on the web and start to promote their products and services or talk about their passion, and just start engaging with the internet world. And there are so many users out there. So this basically involves the creation and sharing of online material such as videos, blogs, social media posts. Now there's been an explosion of influencers, if you would have seen, on all social media platforms, promoting products, not promoting products, just talking about it, playing music, doing share shairis, anything that a person is interested in, people are doing. So this is again a very, very powerful medium to reach out to interested people. Again, this is now a very crowded space, and it requires a lot of strategic planning to get this right. But once you get this right, it's very, very powerful, right? So this is like a holistic cycle. This is like a content marketing strategy, infographics. So you attract website visitors through blog posts and web content and articles. So let's say someone is a yoga teacher, or someone is suffering from acne skin, or someone wants to learn how to train a dog. So there are multiple things that problems that people are facing. Somebody needs help with their finances. Somebody wants to learn how to invest in stock markets. There are people who are writing blog posts, doing videos, doing content, and they're attracting visitors. They're gathering their contact information. So let's say there's a stock market guru who is getting people to their website and also saying that I'll share a weekly newsletter free of cost that'll update you on which are the stocks you should buy, which are the stocks you should stay away from. Or a yoga teacher who's teaching exercises on how to treat back pain, and multiple things, right? So they get your contact information again, and this ties into email marketing and SMS marketing. They do deeper interactions with phone calls and consultations and assessments, and then a request for a proposal and an actual sale. So there are normal people from tier 2, tier 3 cities who have set up businesses and side businesses just through content marketing. And it also employs all the other ones, right? So for example, if you write a content piece, you want to get it ranked on the search engine. So you use SEO to promote your content marketing. And again, this is one of the very, very powerful ways in which normal people are using to get more interactions, more proposals, more sales. Another very, very revolution of the web of digital marketing, I would say, is affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is a type of performance-based marketing in which a business rewards one or more affiliates for each visitor or customer brought by the affiliate's own marketing effort. So, in a simplistic way, you pay just for performance. Right? So, for example, the simplest example for everyone to understand here is Amazon. Now, let's say you are a chef and you like this one particular masala for your cooking, and you are doing a video that this is the dish that I cooked. And by the way, you can buy this masala from Amazon. What that user can do is enter their affiliate link, and the Amazon gets a sale, and Amazon pays the affiliate a commission. So again, this is a fantastic proposition for anyone looking to start businesses or looking to generate a revenue stream online, is just without even creating a product of your own, just by engaging with your passion or just by understanding someone else's product and promoting it, you could get a commission and start a business. So I know that RapidMile is one of the companies, one of the streams of income is affiliate marketing, and they've been doing it for years and are very, very good at it and are quite big at it. In fact, RapidMile was one of the most important companies I consulted for some of Times Internet's products, right? So using RapidMile's reach as an example of the unique user base it has. For example, there was also Paisabazaar as well, whose audiences we tapped, and they got paid a commission, and we got a sale. So it's a very, very powerful medium. So how does affiliate marketing work? It's a very, very simple one. From as a business owner, as a perspective, the affiliate puts your ad or your product on their website. If the customer clicks, there's a unique URL for every affiliate, which can be tracked. The customer clicks and converts, and this converts means like a sale. The conversions are tracked through that unique link, and affiliate gets a commission, you get a sale. So it's a win-win situation. It's a very, very powerful model. And this is one of the ways without having a product, you can actually generate an income stream in 6 and 7 figures if you do it at scale. So this is absolutely one of the most revolutionary channels that is a win-win for both. So here are some of I'll just give you some value, right? If you just, leave here with this, you sign up on these platforms, you can explore yourself some of the top affiliate programs internationally and in India that you can sign up for and start promoting any of their products and start getting commissions, right? Some of them have an approval process, which requires you to have a social media page or a website, but those are simple things to do. Not very difficult. So I'll just go through CJ, ClickBank, Share a Sale. These are international affiliate programs, and they have products from all across the world. Amazon also is an international affiliate program, but mostly people in India use it for promoting the Amazon.in product base. There's, of course, Flipkart affiliate program as well. There's vCommission, Admatide, and Optimized Media, some of the largest affiliate networks and programs that you can tie up with and start promoting other people's products and services. So that's it about the channels of digital marketing broadly that we have. And I just wanted to touch upon, I think we're almost out of time, so I'll just quickly touch upon some of the key aspects of digital marketing, one of the key pillars. So the key pillar is data. So famous guy said, in God we trust, all others bring data. So what this is doing, especially in the company that I'm working in, and in many places, opinions of seniors or juniors. Now that I have a senior position, my juniors don't want to listen to my opinion. They want to only look at data, and that's the correct way. Opinions lose their weight, and data has all the weight. Now everything can be tracked, everything can be monitored, and it's absolutely fascinating what data has done to revolutionize digital marketing, so much so that now there are very interesting fields called data scientists whose full-time job is to just get data, crunch data, and derive insights from it that the business can use to improve. And this is how one of the ways, I'm oversimplifying here, how Facebook, Google use their data engineers to gather what people are looking for, what is a good experience, and showing more and more relevant ads, more and more relevant searches. So this is an absolute fascinating field that people are looking at, and data is, I'll repeat again, in God we trust, all others bring data. So just to give you a very, very brief overview of one of the platforms that we are working on what kind of data that we get. Again, this is just, as they say, the tip of the iceberg. It goes much, much deeper than this, but just to help you understand that you can track how many users you got in a specific time period. So from May 19th to May 25th on one of our websites, we got 352,000 users, out of which 320,000 were new users. They did about 474,000 sessions, means that they came back and they interacted further. 6 lakh page views, average session duration, bounce rate. Again, these are advanced concepts that I won't get into in absolute detail, but this is absolutely fascinating, right? If we can track what people are doing, what your message was, and what the real-time impact is, you are able to then improve your campaigns, improve your communication, improve your product till you give people what they're actually looking for. Right. So, for example, we at that point there were 396 active users, and these were some of the web pages that they were visiting. So, this is absolutely a gold mine for any digital marketer data. Right. So that being said, I'll quickly touch upon some of the success stories that digital marketing has brought about. To be honest, there are many, not enough to cover in this presentation. There are multiple sectors, for example, education, ed tech as it's called, or fintech, financial, so where you can now buy mutual fund stocks all through the comfort of your phone. These are success stories in itself. But today I want to focus on food tech because it's something that all of us, I think, can relate to and like, and food tech is an interesting thing. So I'll take kind of two competitors. One is Zomato, one is Dineout, which I worked with the founders closely right from the point they were acquired from Times Internet. And so I'll just start off with Zomato, right? So they were one of the earliest adopters of digital marketing, and they have come a long way since its inception, right? I remember about 8 years back when Zomato wasn't so big and Dipinder Goyal, the founder, wasn't a huge guy. He came to one of these Google conferences that all of us went to, and he spoke about the importance of SEO and how SEO is core to Zomato's brand. At that time, they didn't have massive budgets to spend on TV ads and on other print ads. So if you saw in the first 4 or 5 years, Zomato just did digital marketing and they built a brand. And their premise was simple. They wanted to create value for the user. And how did they do that? They went to each and every restaurant in as many cities as they could. They collated the menus and made sure, used SEO tactics to make sure that people could find them. So I remember looking for menus on Google, and Zomato would invariably be number one. Once they got the user base, once they got a loyal user base, they started introducing revenue streams. So they started featuring restaurants, they started ads on the website. Lately, they moved to online ordering and selling their subscription product, Zomato Gold, which is now Zomato Pro. They are one of the Indian unicorns, as they're called, which means they're valued more than $1 billion. They're valued at $5.4 billion with an IPO incoming in this year. And it's fascinating to see a company that just started out with digital, who had grown to massive, massive levels and are now going for an IPO. So this is the time for anyone to still get into digital marketing. I also want to talk about another company in food tech, Dineout, which is a company that was acquired in 2014 by Times Internet Limited, where I've spent a lot of my time. And they started with 10,000 diners pre-acquisition, and today their diner base, which means people who book tables or get their deals through their app, is about 100 million across tier 1 and tier 2 cities. And again, there's most of their spends were focused on digital marketing. They made strategic investments, and they grew rapidly. Right now, they're clocking revenues of 200 million, and their growth there's a long way to go for them. So, right, I just wanted to focus on these two success stories of brands who are just digital and now have become big. And I'll just use quickly some of the examples that these guys did. So even if you're searching for something like Bikaner Wala in Sector 29 in Gurgaon, Zomato is there with their ad, right? Start and end your day with Zomato and relish your favorites and blah blah blah. COD, unlimited choices, online payment, live order tracking, all the benefits here in this ad for a restaurant, for a location, meticulously done in detail. And what this does is it gets them a lot of orders, very targeted, and now they're one of the biggest brands. Similarly, this is a paid ad. This is an example of SEO. Even if somebody searched for Eden Park, just the restaurant, it would show Eden Park, the exact road in Bangalore. What is it that they'll get? Menu, reviews, contact location. The number one search result in Google, having absolutely aced their SEO, making sure a lot of traffic ends up, a lot of targeted traffic ends up on their website. So, and also just going by some of the Facebook ads, they don't do a spray and pray, or they don't do a strategy ki ek ad chala diya and that works for everyone. They do different ads for different target audiences, right? So there are Hindi ads for specific audiences in tier 2, even in tier 1, where people are interested in foods that are, home style foods or what people are used to. They have cracked the vernacular game. They also have ads for new users. So it's saying get up to 50% off on your first 5 orders on Zomato, right? And through these carousel format ads, right? When we go through a social media session, we can look at in detail what are the ad options available. And carousels, this is called a carousel, is very, very powerful form of advertising where a user with their thumb or with their keyboard can look at multiple images under one. So this is again something that they've used with a lot of power, and they've been able to get a lot of users through this. Similarly, Dino Digital Promotions as well. Right now, I think Kusha Kapila, who was just a small writer in Times Internet, who is actually a friend of mine, she has become big, but she's a normal person. The most important thing, she's an absolutely normal person who became an influencer through digital marketing strategies. And she did this big campaign with Dine Out where she actually made personalized ads for people who were interacting with the app. So let's say you were booking a table, but you left. She would say, "Hey, hi Abhishek." She would actually say that in the video, "Hi Abhishek, I think you forgot to book a table. Please do that. Or you forgot to book this deal. Please do that." And this was using personalized communication at a massive scale. And this has been a very, very successful campaign for them. And also on the right, basics, they got the basics right as well. Get 20% discount at Barbecue Nation. Barbecue Nation in Connaught Place, Delhi is one of the most popular restaurants. So they got their SEO. This is an SEO listing. They got it right. There's a discount that people are looking for. It's a popular place, number one search result in Google. So get a very, very qualified and targeted user base. So I just wanted to quickly touch upon these success stories, and there are many, many, but too many to cover during this short presentation. So yeah, this is, I just wanted to talk about that. And quickly before I close, and once again want to thank everyone for joining. It's a great thing, and I'm happy to be sharing this with you. I'll be doing a small workshop on how you can make money online, no matter what experience level you have. And we'll be taking you through some of the most important and interesting strategies that we have used to do this, right? So how to basically, you learn how to make money through digital marketing. You will also learn how to create your own product from scratch. All you need is the inclination. It's a very, very interesting thing. And a lot of people don't know that they have a lot of knowledge inside them that they're willing to share with the world. And a lot of people don't know that you can actually make a product out of it and help people. It's not about just doing a business. It's about helping people and communicating with them. So we'll teach you how to create your own product from scratch. Also, if you don't have time to create your own product, we will take you through promoting other people's products through affiliate marketing and how you can create a passive income stream. And one of the best parts about being a digital marketer, because you're connected, is that you can choose your own hours, you can choose your own time, You can choose the amount of effort you want to put into. It's all up to you, and you can work on your schedule. Right. So I would really encourage you to join this workshop. It's at a very, very, very nominal price. We're planning to do it on 19th of June. And yeah, I mean, I just wanted to take you guys through that. And thank you so much, everybody. I hope this helped you and helped give you a lot of value. And I hope to add more value to you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ongir, for this amazing session. I really enjoyed it. I'm sure a lot of you would have got a lot of information through digital marketing. And in case if somebody wants to open a different stream, a different channel to earn money online, this is the way to go. And in that case, do not miss the bookshop, okay, at a very discounted price. Okay, let's come to the question answer round now.
Yeah, I think so. Sudhanshu is
any
asking what is the duration of the workshop. It'll be about 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours. Right, Charles?
Yeah, Sudhanshu, it could be 4 to 5 hours of workshop. Any more questions?
Yes, please. I'd love to answer more questions, get into some deeper concepts that you guys have questions about.
Okay, so no questions. So I hope everybody did enjoy the session. Thank you very much, Ongir. And I would like to take this opportunity to announce another workshop we are coming up with, which is Success Principles on this weekend. Niharika would be the trainer who would take this workshop. Niharika, would you please unmute yourself and talk a bit about the upcoming workshop on Success Principles?
Yeah, sure, Shaz. Hi, everyone. I'm Niharika. Am I visible to you all? Am I visible?
You're audible but not visible.
Okay, so maybe my camera is just...
Yes, now you are.
Yeah, hi, everyone. So we, I think I have announced it earlier as well that we are coming up with Jack Canfield's Success Principles. The Success Principles, which have been created by none other than Jack Canfield himself, who I don't think needs any introduction. He is an internationally renowned coach, author. If you have heard about the movie The Secret, he was also featured in that. He has written the book The Chicken Soup for the Souls, and he is one of the America's #1 success coach. Okay, so this workshop in the Success Principles on Jack Canfield, and it's going to be very life transforming for you all. It's going to be game changing because it's going to reboot your entire mindset, your thought process, and it is going to push you out of your zone of resistance or your comfort zone to go out and take action for your goals. Okay, it will help you create the success that you desire and that you deserve. So I think Shaz will share the links with you. If you want to create the success for a long time, this is the right time to invest in it, because right now we are all sitting in the middle of a pandemic. This is the right time to invest in ourselves and learn things so that when you come out of a pandemic, people look up to you and say, wow, what did you do during the pandemic? So just go register for it. It's going to be life transforming because it has worked for me, and I'm live example of how I used Success Principles in changing my life. It's going to be life changing for you as well. So please do, if you have not yet gone through the session and everything, we'll share the details with you. We'll message you, and Shaz will also share the details of the link as well. So do attend that. It's on 29th and 30th of May. It's 2 days, 5 hours each, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Okay? Shaz.
All right, thank you very much, Niharika. And I've shared the registration link for the Success Principles workshop. And for the digital marketing workshop, I will share the link in our group. Yes. So let's all thank Ongir for the wonderful session.
It was my pleasure. Thank you everyone.
Thank you very much, Ongir.
Thank you.
So we come to an end of the workshop of the session today. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in.